For those who were there, working at Youngstown Sheet and Tube in the late 50s and early 60s was the best of times. That all ended in 1977 when the company closed its Camel Works and furloughed 5,000 workers. But in the 40 years since Youngstown Sheet and Tube closed its doors, the friendships that were forged there remain as strong as ever. Every Christmas, retired managers and their spouses gather to catch up and remember old times.
In Youngstown, we make steel. We make steel and talk steel. I guess it's the same in Sheffield, England, or that place the Russians built in the Urals, Magnitogorsk.
Sheet and Tube was a very viable employer in the area. It was the Mahoning Valley. We had approximately somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 to 6,000 employees. And for every employee that's hired into a steel company like Sheet and Tube, there were 4 or 5 residual jobs out there.
I started with Youngstown Sheet and Tube in 1956. I had been with the old Mullins Company down in Salem and Warren. Friends of mine were Sheet and Tube employees, and when they'd come to Mullins, they'd always stop in to see me in the engineering office there and want to know when I was going to come to Sheet and Tube to work. So one day I finally did.
Well, Sheet and Tube had a good name in the industry for good quality products.
I was hired by Ernie Plott, who was chief metallurgist at the time, and he assigned me to the seamless metallurgical department.
And when you walked into anyone from General Motors to a guy with a little fabricating shop, they stood up, they greeted you, they knew that you were a quality sales rep with a quality steel company in back of you.
Well, it's great to see these people still have a strong interest in their heritage and what they did for a livelihood, even though kids today don't really want to do these types of things. So it's nice to to keep this going as long as we can.
When Sheet and Tube went down in the valley, you lost 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people at Sheet and Tube, but you lost maybe 20,000 jobs throughout the area. That's hard to recover. And again, with those residual jobs that were attached to it, everything back then from dry cleaners to restaurants to telephone operators, telephone service people, and so forth and so on, it probably affected about 25,000 jobs in this area, and that was significant.
I mean, we go back to 1923 when we joined Sheet and Tube, and then went all through the 60s and all the problems in the 70s. It's great to see people still appreciate this kind of history.
What I did after I left Sheet and Tube is that I went over to Sharon Steel and did the same thing for them over there for a number of years. Or some of us stayed on with the new group, but they had to relocate to Pittsburgh or some other place. I guess we were all such good friends and we worked for such a great company that we just didn't want to let it go. So once a year we make it a point to all get together and enjoy one another's companies.
Sheet and Tube was a great place to work for. They were very generous and they listened to their people, and you could progress there.
But there was a love for the company, and we really enjoyed working for the company. Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company was a great employer, and we all appreciate that.